Welcome all in my ICT Eco for You channel once again. Welcome all viewers in ICT Eco for You channel. Please subscribe this channel, like and share. This is educational channel. Just type ICT Eco for You in Google search bar and start my channel. There are 475 plus videos for education, and very thankful to all of you that you subscribe this channel and you are being with me for a long time. Welcome all viewers in this channel once again. I am heartily thankful to all of you that you are subscribed this channel, share this channel, like this channel. In this channel you can find out standard 11 GSB board details and standard 12 GSB video. We are also going to start chapter 4th supply from these channels. Today's English medium GSB board, you can also find out so many videos of Gujarati medium and also English medium. So today we are going to start 4th chapter of standard 11 economics. Stay with us till the end, and I have been asked you some of the question during this, so please I am very thankful and see till the end and cooperate as you given me in past. So welcome all in new session of my channel. I hope you all very important for me, because if you are not watching this channel, this all works are not going to in that destination. So once again, I myself Krupesh Nayak welcome you all and thankful to all that you are subscribed this channel. Now we are going to start our 4th chapter supply, that is in economics. So here we are going to start our chapter, very important chapter, as you know that there is some important factors of demand as well as supply also. So here all the students ready for this. Now this is the title of this chapter, supply. Now meaning of the stock and supply. In everyday language we are using the stock, supply, product in instead of some of the word of supply and stock, but there is a difference. However, in economics there is a clear distinction between the stocks and supply and also product. Production is the quantity of goods created by the available factors of production during a fixed time. Very important. The manufacturer do any activity on the raw material, they create some goods for the final product, that is called production. Supply is very important because the chapter is also titled by supply, and what is supply, what is demand, what is production, what is stock, we have clear in our mind. So here is that supply means is that amount of production which producer is able and willing to sell in the market at a given price and a particular point of a time. Very important. Two words are there, able and willing to sell. If they are not ready to sell that product, it is not supply, but it is only and only stocks that keep in godown only. But from these stocks, if they ready, they able, they willing for a particular time and particular price to sell to the consumer, that is called supply. Now stock is a total available amount of goods, total available amounts of goods with a producer which can be offered for sale in the market as per the ability and willingness. There is also two words is very important. If the seller are not ready and not able and not willing, so all supply are also known as only and only stock. For example, a trader of oil in Rajkot has 500 packets of oil. If he or she is not able and willing to sell in the market at a given price and a given time of, then supply is remains zero. But she or he able and willing to go 3 packets from the available amount, then the supply is known as a 300 packets. If the producer have product 1000 units of tin and they are not ready to sell their all entire 1000 unit at previous market price and particular time, that is no production, that is no supply in the market. Only and only there is a production and stock, nothing else. Now differences between stock and supply. Stock is the sum of the total of the available amount of a good, and supply is a stock which trade are able and willing to sell a prevailing price at the particular point of time. And stock is the total amount of product which is available for sale. Supply is less than stock. When the supply of the oil sell lesser amount from the available amount. Stock consists of current production as well as the unsold stock from previous lot of production. So here one point is very clear. All the production are not supply and all the stocks are also not supply. If supplier ready to sell their product and willing to want to sell and entire stocks are bring in the market for the purpose of selling, this all are stock, now it is called supply. So supply may be lesser or equal to stock. Now factor affecting the supply. Factor affecting supply are in two categories. First is price of product and rather than price factor, that already we have learnt in chapter number 3 in demand. There are also two factor affecting demand. Same way here in supply also two factor affecting. First is price and second is rather than price factor. Very important factor is price and price, because the seller is ready or not, able or not, willing or not, it depends their price. A producer sell for profit and thus he or he supply more than the price of the product rises and supply less when the rise of the production fall. Thus there is a positive relationship between price and supply. Why? Because if the price is increased, supplier are ready to supply their goods, and when the price is decreased, supplier are not, because there is a loss. So price and supply are going in same way, same direction. So there is a direct relationship between price and supply. We have already learnt in demand chapter there is an inverse relationship between price and demand, but here in supply chapter there is a positive relationship or direct relationship between price and supply. Price of factors of production or cost of production. Supply is affected by change in the production cost. For example, when the rent paid to the owner of land, wages paid to the laborer decrease, the cost of production is decreased. Second is rather than price factor. First factor is very important, that is price. If price increase, supply definitely increase. If price decrease, supply definitely decrease. But here second is cost of production. If the cost of production are increased, we can find out that when the rent paid to the owner of the land, wages paid to the laborers, decrease the cost of production, and cost of production are decreased, then there is a definitely when the cost of production is decreased, profit increase. If price remain unchanged and hence the seller is willing to sell greater amount, so cost of production are decreased, the supply will be increased. Why? Because there is a possibility of profit. Laborer, capitalist are getting lesser amount, so that earning capacity and possibility are more than that. So cost of production are lesser, supply are increase. While the cost of production rise, vice versa it happen, the supply is contract. That so laborer and capitalist going to high demand their rates and their wages, then there is a possibility to high in the cost of production, so supply will be contracts because the profit margin will be lesser at that time. Now second is level of technology. When the state of the technology advance, time and effort are saved, hence greater amount and the better quality of the goods are produced with the same or lower cost. If market price do not fall, then profit increase and seller are willing to sell more. Supply and supply in same way, that is expand in market. Why? Because technology increased the production, technology increased the production, and the production will be forced to large number of production, large number of unit, and manufacturer are ready to manufacture and producer are also ready to product, and same way the price is not fallen, so the supplier are also ready to get maximum profit in some circumstances. So when level of technology are increased, supplier are increased, then there is a possibility of higher profit, so supplier are ready to supply their goods. So level of technology increase, supplier also increase. There is no chance of increase in price at that time, but supplier are ready to earn maximum profit, so that bring their supply in the market for the selling. Now future expectation regarding price, very important factor rather than price, because if future expectation about the price affect the current supply of goods. If sellers speculate price of a production to rise in future, then they will contract the supply in the present times period to build up stocks for the future, and vice versa. Supply increase when there is increase in the number of firms. So if the price are determinants so many factors, supplier determinants so many factor, and supplier are if predict that price will be increase in the future, so there is a decrease in the supply in present times, because in future supplier want to get maximum benefit, maximum profit. So scenario, if the prediction of the higher price, supplier supply their goods in the market, and if they predict that price will be go down in future, they get maximum supply in the market. So these are very important factor. Now other factor are there. Supply increase when there is increase in the number of firms. If the number of firms are 2 and 3 and 4, and then but some of the factors and increase the form of, then there is an increase initially. If there are 1 or 2 shop in nearby your home, but shopkeepers are increasing, then automatically supply will be increased. At that time there is no possibility of price increase, but due to factors of number of firm is increased, supply will be increased. When political stability exists, when industrial relations are maintained well between the owners and the workers of production and making activities, etc., and supply decrease when the above factors are in against. So these are very important. So affecting supply are over here. Now second point of this chapter is individual supply and market supply. Supply in economy is also classified as individual supply and market supply. Individual supply is the supply of goods by an individual firm seller at given price at particular point of time. The sum total of the such individual supplies of all existence sellers in the market is called market supply at a given price. So individual supply in terms of firm A, firm B, firm C bring their supply in the market for the purpose of selling, but sum of the all individuals, the total of sum of the all individual, that is called market supply. Here the example of that, price in kgs for 10 rupees, 20 rupees, 30 rupees, 40, 50. Here the supply of A and B are 80, 60, 180, 100, 240, 180, 300, 260, 400, 300 respectively from A and B. So individual supply, that is called from A, 80, 180, 240, 80, 180, 240, 300, 400, and individual supply from B, that is called 60, 100, 180, 263. Here we can see here when the prices increase, A and B are ready to sell their goods. Why? Because the margin of profit is are more. If we can combine of 80 plus 60, that is called 140, A 180 plus 100, that is 280, 240 plus 180, that is 420, 300 plus 260, that is 560, 400 plus 300, that is 700. So the combination of from A and B together, that is called market supply. With the help of this, here we can find out from A supply, here we can find out supplier B curve, and here the market supply. So both are in same position. There is a differences is there. Here 200, 400, 680, 100 unit, but here 50, 100, 200, 250 units. So individual sum of the individuals, that is called market supply. Supply function, very important for one liner, or you have been asking explain supply function. Supply function is a mathematical representation of the relationship of the supply of a goods with the determinants. So we revise that there is a positive relationship between dash and dash, that is price and supply. Supply function is a dash relationship, that is mathematical. Supply increase when there is increase in number of firm production or expectation. There is so many possibilities there for this answer. One line, define the production. Production is a quantity of goods created by the available factors of the production during a fixed time period. What is supply curve? A curve obtained by plotting a producer willingness to sell at various price is called supply curve. Now very important section is there, that is law of supply. As per law of demand, If the price is increased, demand will be contracts, and price will decrease, demand will be expand. But there is a precondition if other factor remain constant. Same way in section E, you have been asked what explain law of supply with their schedule and diagram. So here law of supply, when all other factor affecting supply are assumed to be constant, very important, that precondition to prove the law of supply. But that when all other factors affecting supply are assumed to be constant in sense of unchanged, no change for the expectation of future price, government policy, number of firm, this all are remain same, no change, cost of production or technology, only one factor, that is price, is as price increase, supply expand, and as price decrease, supply contracts. So there is a positive relationship between price and supply. First up, second up, first down, second down. First in sense of price increase, supply expand, price decrease, supply contracts. It is only one factor X there, that is a price. Other than all remain unchanged. So there are some assumptions of law of supply. If we are not assume that and not predict that unchanged, it is not possible to prove our law of supply. So here law of supply rests on certain assumption. There are several factors affecting supply of a goods that we already learned. Rather than price is very important, that must be unchanged or constant. However, the law of supply assumes the effect of all factor other than price as constant on the supply at a given time and given price. Actually, some of the other factors can have more acting the influence of the supply than the price. However, we assume this to be constant. Some important assumptions of the law of supply are: first, very important for section C or D, write the assumption to the law of supply. Then first is price of factor of production remain constant. Second, there are no change for the technology. Third, level of the competition remains same. In other words, number of seller in the market remains same. So there is no increment and decrement in the firm, trader, seller are not increase or decrease in the market. Expectation are unchanged. No any expectation regarding future price. Other factor like government policy, transportation, natural calamities, this all are remain unchanged, same or constant. Now with the help of there is a diagram, schedule and explanation of the supply. A schedule showing a seller's willingness to sell a goods at various prices is called supply schedule. Here there is a schedule of this. Here we can see here price of apple per kg in rupees 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and supply of apple in kgs 2, 4, 6, 8 thousand. This is in 100, right? So here we can find out when the price is going to increase, and same way apple unit are seller ready to sell at expansion mode. Here 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, that is called expansion mode. Why? Because of this factor, price affected our supply, so that when the price is increased, supply will be increased. If we compare it this level of 70 rupees, if the price is increased, this is the supply is also expand. But when at the level of 70 the price decreased by 60, then we can find out here 400. So this is contraction in apple's supply. With the help of this, there is a diagram of it, law of supply. Here we can find out the supply of apples on x-axis and price on y-axis. When the price is going up, there we can find out there is a upwards in the supply, that is called contraction. If we compare this level of C, the price is 80 and 90, we can find out supply is 80 and 1000. So this area C to E, that is called expansion area, and A to C, that is called contraction area. So very important this one. Now relation between price and supply, why there is a positive relationship between price and supply? So there is a two main points for that. Seller pursue the objectives of the profit. Why? Because every seller are going to get profit in maximum margin, and when the price is rises, the possibility of the profit are there. So initially there is supply more in the market, but when the price decreases, they are not going to buy maximum commodity. Why? Because there is a no chance of profit. So the price is increased, supply expands, price decrease, supply contracts. Now change in supply, there are two type of changes in made in demand also, same way here in the change in supplies also. So first is the determinants of the supply are classified under two major factors. First is when other factors are remain constant and if other factors are remain not constant. So what happen if the other factor remain constant? If the other factor remain constant, there is a changes of expansion and contraction in supply. But if other factor are not remain constant and only price remains constant, there is a changes in supply, that is called increase and decrease. With the help of this we can find out in this diagram change in supply, expansion and contraction, and increment decrement. This first is due to only price increase, seller ready to sell their goods, that is called expansion. Price decrease, seller not ready to sell their goods, that is contraction. But there is increase and decrease, price are same 10 10 10 6 6 6 7 7 7 100 100 100, but the supply 100 200 300 due to other factor, not price factor. So it is increase and decrease in supply. When other factor are assumed to be remain constant and price is varied, there is expansion and contraction in supply. Other factor may constitute cost of production, price of factors, other number of seller, level of technology, government policy. If there are change and then there are no change in price plus and minus, that is called expansion and contraction in supply. Now you can see this table 50 60 90 up to this is increment in the rupees. So here only one factor, that is change our supply, that is price. Other are remain same, no expectation of future price, no technology change. So as per this supply in Apple are going 200 400 600 800 1000, it is called expansion and contraction in demand. Why? Because of only one factor is there, that is price. Now second, in this the diagram of expansion and contraction, we can see there are only one A to E is A to C, sorry, the section of expansion of supply, and A to B, that is contraction supply. So only we can find out here change in the supply due to change in the price. It is on why this is a price and this is of supply. So price 10 20 30 40, you can see here price are going up and down, so that our supply is going up and down, that is called expansion and contraction. Now increase and decrease, that we already learned that when one factor or some factors other than price, that is very important word, is other than price. So in this manner price remains same and other factor moves our supply plus and minus, that is rightward or upward or shifted to the supply, it is called increase and decrease. If cost of the production falls, prices of factor of the production falls, state technology improve, number of supply increase, government policy change in favor of production, then even price of a goods remain constant, supply may be increase and decrease, that is called increment and decrement or increase and decrease in supply. So here price are not responsible for the increase and decrease in supply, but other factor remains some. If the schedule is there, the price 10 10 10 or 20 20 20 or 100 100 100, but supply are changing there 10 20 30 40, so it is increase and decrease in supply. So here with the help of this diagram we can find out there is a same time same rupees of Apple 20 20 20, but we find out 100 200 300. It if we compare with 20 rupees of price and 300 supplies of Apple, when 200 is going, when the price is going down, but here we can see that prices remain same, even the supply is decreased. Why? Because of expectation of future price. In future maybe possibility of price high. So in present they are not going to sell their commodity in the market. So there is a decrement, and here we can find out same price and even 400 of our supply. If price is not going to 30 or 40, even the supply are more, because of maybe possible firm are increasing in same area, so that supply will be increased. So it is increase and decrease. So with the help of this concept, here the diagram of the increase and decrease, here increase and decrease we can find here 20 rupees is same, no change in the price, no 30 40 different line is there, but only and only 20 line is we can find out here. But same 200 300 and 400 are the same price, even the supplier change at the same price. So if we compare with this S1 line, here the increase of to 300 to 400, and if we compare this S1 to S2, it is decrease in supply. 3, if we compare it with 300 supply, the 400 is expand, but we are not going to say it is expand. Why? Because price remains same. If price is unchanged, then we are say there is expansion, but here other factor are affected our supply, so that here 300 to 400 and this is 200, 300 to 200. It is increase line is right from the main supply line and decrease is left from the shifted to left side. Now there is some exceptions to the law of supply, and exceptions are always wrong over law of supply. That is, 2 points are there: rare goods and perishable goods. Expectation to the law of supply. Expectation to the law of supply arise when supply of goods rises when its price fall, and supply fall when the price rises, when other factors are held unchanged. So here some of the example for that: rare goods. Certain goods are rare, and hence even if there is a significant rise in their price, their supply does not rise. For example, ancient coin, ancient idols, original manuscript, old books. These all are not, if the prices increase, supplier expand, and prices decrease, supplier contracts. Why? Because these are rare goods. They want to keep their hands, because if the price are more of some old book, even they are not going to sell. Why? Because it is from the rare commodities. However, such goods do not have any current production, and therefore instead of considering this as an expectation to the law of supply, should be kept out the study of supply. Second is expectation to the law of supply arise when supply of good rises when the price fall down. It is also expectation to the law of supply. For example, perishable goods, highly perishable goods like milk, milk production, green vegetables, meat, eggs, fish, ripe fruits, flowers, etc. It cannot be stored for a long time. Hence, even if their price falls, their supply will not contract, as they cannot be preserved and hence must be sold. However, in current times, with availability of cold storage, even this expectation is debatable. So these are two exceptions. Now price determinants on market, in market, very important, how price decide or what is the price determinants point. So there are price determinations explain the process of determining a stable price at which goods are actually bought and sold in the market. Such determinants of price is done in all form of market. It is known as a determination or equilibrium of price level. That means at which price seller are ready to sell and buyer are ready to buy, and how it decide. So here individual producer or seller do not decide the price. That is very important. Price are determined by the interaction of market demand and market supply. Individual demand, if the price of petrol or some of the product are increased, so individual buyer are not going to change in their price, but market demand and the market supply can change the price. Equilibrium is attained only where the two curves interest each other. According to the Marshall, the market demand and market supply are called the invisible hands of market, and entire process of invisible. So demand and the supply are the scissor to cut the price. If the price are higher, buyer are not ready to buy, and price is lower, then supplier are not ready to sell their goods. So what is the equilibrium point? That we going to discuss here with this schedule. So price of commodity in rupees, price of commodity in kgs, supply of commodity in kgs. Here there is some mistake is there. Here price of commodity, instead of here demand is there, not price. Here are also supply. Here demand, price, demand and supply. First column is price, second is for the demand, and third is supply. So here we can say that when the price is increasing, we can find out the demand is decreasing. It is not price. Instead of price, you have to keep in mind that there is a demand column. And third is as usually supply. When the price 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, the supplier ready to sell because the profit margin is maximum. So at the 50 level, they can maximum supply in the market, and 10 level there is 200 supply. But same way, buyer are not ready when the price is going down. They are also want to maximum buy. Here demand is 1000, but here supply is only 200. So if we compare with 30 rupees price, supplier and buyer are ready. Reasonable profit are also there, and supplier are getting reasonable profit also, and buyer have not going to give 40 rupees or 50 rupees at higher rate. So it is a equilibrium point of the price determination due to these two factors, that is called that is called demand and supply. So here the equilibrium point of the price is that here demand and supply on the x-axis and price on the y-axis. Price of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 is going up, and here 200, 400, 600, 800, 1000 is supply and demand. If we compare this, that is called demand, that we can see from right to left, and it is negatively stop up because inverse relationship between, and there is a supply curve. We can find out there is a positive relationship. When the price increase, supply are very ready to supply, but at this level of equilibrium price, that is supplier and sellers are ready to sell their goods at the price of 30 and 600 units of sale. So this is the price determination point, and it will be decided by demand and supply. Now some of the revision are there. Stocks is always less than supply, that is higher. If the expectations about rise in price in future, then present supply is decrease. Price of factors of production remain constants. What is rare goods? Certain goods are rare, and hence even there is a significant rise in their price, their supply does not rise. That is called rare goods. What is market supply? The sum total of the quantities which supplier in the industries are willing to supply a goods at various price. So I am very thankful to all to watching till the end, and I hope you get maximum about supply. And now I want to ask one question, as we already spoke earlier starting from this chapter. What is the relationship between supply and price? How many determinants? First question is, what is the relationship between supply and price? You please comment. Second question, how many factors determines our supply? How many factors determines supply? And third is, what is the relationship between demand and price? So I hope you all enjoy this session, and we are ready, and we are enjoy within a week or 2 week the next chapter of standard 11, sorry, that is supply. If you are not still subscribe this channel, I request you subscribe. Have a nice day. Thank you.